All right, joining us now on Hot Copy this morning, we have with us former Philippine Civil Service Commission Secretary Karlo Nograles. I can't call you secretary anymore, but what do you want me to call you, sir?
Karlo. Carlos.
All right, so let me call you Karlo. This is one of the David and Goliath races in the 2025 elections. You still had 5 more terms, 5 more years to your stint as the chairperson of the Civil Service Commission. Why did you resign? Why did you risk it all?
It wasn't an easy decision to make, Karen. Naging mahirap para sa akin iwanan or umalis sa CSC. It was a very emotional decision to make. Because ang dami kong plans for CSC, sana. We had already just recently approved the program para magkaroon ng HRMIS system for the buong bureaucracy, for the entire bureaucracy. And it was going to be implemented next year. But I'm confident that as I leave the CSC, with that program in place, it will really bring the CSC to greater heights. And I hope that the next chairperson, whoever he or she may be, will continue this program because it's really a game changer for the bureaucracy, for the entire bureaucracy, not just the CSC. So naging mahirap for me really to make this decision. But ang dami kasing humihila talaga sa akin pauwi to Davao City. And it's really about giving the people of Davao a choice because ang dami ng election na dumaan na wala pong choice sa Davao. And so my decision to come home to Davao is really about giving Davao a chance for change.
Okay. Now, the Dutertes and the Nograleses are 2 of Davao's most prominent political families. But in the last 20 years, the mayoralty race and the post has really been under the Dutertes, right? And your father, at one point, the rivalry was put to rest when your father backed the presidency of former President Rodrigo Duterte in 2016. Karlo, anong nagtulak na sa'yo na gawin ito given the fact that former President Duterte filed first? Kumbaga nalaman mo na siya yung kalaban mo. What made you do it?
Well, first of all, we shouldn't really look at it as apelyido versus apelyido or apelyido A versus apelyido B. At the end of the day, it's really about giving a choice to Davao. Kasi in the Cebuano language, in the dialect of Davao, when you say halalan or election, the direct translation sa aming dialect is piniliay. Piniliay. So you have to pick, you have to choose. May pipiliin ka. And it's not a real election if wala kang authentic choice, wala kang mapili. So very clear to me that that's why I ran. Kasi ang dami talagang humihila sa akin pauwi sa Davao. Wherever I go, and even in Manila, if I bump into people from Davao, sa mga text messages, sa messengers, sa social media, marami nagsasabi, uwi ka na sa Davao.
Oo.
So talagang humihila sa akin pauwi. And it's about giving Davao a choice this time around this election.
Okay, but why now, Karlo? Why now?
Sorry.
Why now? Bakit hindi mo to ginawa noon? You were a representative.
That's true. I could have waited. My term sa civil service is 2029. I would have ended in February of 2029. And along with that is a lifetime pension. But why now? Because Davao needs to have a choice now because now is the election. Now is karon ang piniliay. Now ang election. And it's about giving a choice to Davao and a chance for change. And there's so many things that can be improved in Davao City na hindi rin pwedeng makapaghintay. Like for instance, the flooding in Davao.
Mm.
Noon sa Davao, anong mga kalsadang iiwasan mo eh. Dahil pag bumuhos ng ulan, alam mo, iwasan mo tong kalsada na to, iwasan mo tong kalsada to dahil mabaha dyan.
Mm.
But now, pag ulan, wherever you go, baha eh. And there's an answer to there's a solution. The JICA master plan gives us the solution. The problem is, under that JICA master plan, you need 20 billion pesos for the short term and another 60 billion pesos in the long term to fix the flooding problem. And over and above that, Davao City has to shell out 8 billion pesos in the short term to fix mga drainage and improve our drainage system, and another 8 billion pesos in the long term. Hindi mo pwedeng sabihin saka na ha, after 2029 na kasi yun yung term ko eh. And I've been trying to say that sa lahat ng mga tao na humihila sa akin po, I say, hanggang 2029 pa ang term ko sa CSC. But they always say, hindi kami makapaghintay. Can you come home now?
Okay. So ang tanong ko, sinasabi mo ba, Karlo, na pabayaan ng mga Duterte itong problema ng pagbaha sa Davao kaya lumala? Because when you think about it, the Rodrigo Duterte was a former president. He had all the power, influence. He controlled the coffers. He could have done it. Napabayaan ba yun?
I really can't speak to that. But what I do know is there are funds in Davao City. You have the local development fund. And you have the local disaster risk reduction fund over and above the infrastructure fund that Davao City has. And I don't know why it's not being maximized. I don't know why it's not being utilized. And kulang siguro yung mabilis na paggamit niyan. Then over above that, there's also the special education fund. Kasi apart from the flooding, there's also a classroom shortage in Davao City. But we have the special education fund, and that's yearly, and that's something that can be used and maximized. But I don't understand why the special education fund is not being maximized to build more classrooms and to provide for the needs ng mga school children here in Davao City. So that's also another problem that I think can be fixed. It's a fixable problem. There's a solution to that.
Okay. So, ang mayor ng Davao, bago itong pagbabalik ni Rodrigo Duterte, ay ang anak niyang si Baste Duterte. Naging pabaya ba siya bilang mayor?
I really don't know. I mean, it's up to the people. Let's give it back to the people. No? So they make the final decision. And that's the reason why we have an election in the first place. Diba? So pagdating sa election, pipili sila. Pero yun na nga lang, kung wala ka rin mapili, hindi mo rin alam. We will never know ano ba talaga yung sentiments ng mga kababayan natin if there's nothing to select, di ba? So you have to put yourself out there and ask them, okay, this is candidate A, this is candidate B. If you want candidate B, you go for candidate B. If you want candidate A, you have to pick, di ba? But if you don't have a selection process, kung wala kang choice, then we will really never know. At the end of the day, nasa mga taga Davao yan ang pagpili at sila ang huhusga kung ano ba yung sa palagay nila, ano, ang what's good and what's better for Davao, kumbaga.
Okay. Now, you are going against your former boss. Pwede ka makaakusahan ng walang utang na loob. You've betrayed Duterte because just let me give a bit of history here. When former President Duterte was in office, you were appointed in 2018 as cabinet secretary. That's one, right? You were in Congress first, then you were appointed as cabinet secretary. Then you also served as presidential acting spokesperson, and you were co-chairperson of the Interagency Task Force on Emerging Infectious Diseases during the time of COVID. And it was Duterte who appointed you in March 2022 as the chairperson of the Civil Service Commission. So siguro ang tanong niya ng kalaban mo, etong si Karlo Nograles, walang utang na loob.
Alam mo, Karen, marami tayong pinagtatanawan ng utang na loob, hindi ba? Utang na loob natin sa ating magulang, ang pagbayad natin dyan is maging mabuting anak. Utang na loob natin sa ating mga teachers ay maging mabuting estudyante. Utang na loob sa nagbigay sa atin ng pagkakataon na magtrabaho ay magtrabaho tayo na mahusay, na maayos. Ang utang na loob natin sa ating mga kababayan, pag tayo naging nahalal, pag tayo halal, naging public servant, ay maayos na pagserbisyo. Ganun ang pagbigay, pagbayad natin ng ating utang na loob. At utang na loob din po natin sa ating mga kababayan ang makapagbigay din po tayo ng choice pagdating sa eleksyon. And that's really just what we're doing, di ba? We're just really offering the people of Davao City a choice, a chance for change, and to let their voices out, to give them that freedom, the democracy, di ba? To pick, to select, to choose. So what's so bad about that? It's really giving it back to the people. At the end of the day, binabalik lang naman po natin sa taong bayan, and we respect their decision. And respecting their decision is actually giving them a choice. And that's all it is.
Okay. Now, did you speak to any of the Dutertes before you made the decision? I'm curious because you were and you are in speaking terms with Vice President Duterte. Did you reach out? Did you speak to them or not at all?
Well, after his term pagkapangulo, there were 2 reunions that happened sa mga former members, di ba? Of the cabinet and appointees. So there were 2 reunions after that. But after the second reunion, I don't know kung nagkaroon ng mga meetings after or reunions after that, but hindi na ako kasama doon sa any meetings or reunions. So there was really no chance really to speak or to talk.
Okay.
But I know that, itong pagtakbo naman po natin, I know that he would respect this decision to
All
give
right.
Davao choice.
Now, you said there was a clamor of the people, but is it right to say you are running as an independent, but is the administration supporting you, Karlo?
I'm running as an independent. Tama yung sinabi ko. Sinabi mo, I'm independent candidate, and I'm an independent candidate because I don't want any partisan politics involved here. And really, what we're really saying is I'm an independent candidate, and I'm open to anyone from Davao City who wants to join, who wants to support, who wants to help, who believes that it's a time for change, that who believes in chance, who believes in choice, who believes in change, who believes in improving Davao City, who believes in what we stand for and what we're trying to do. At the very least, we're open. So at least kung independent tayo, then kumbaga we're saying we're open. And then pagdating naman ng panahon, diba, kung if we're blessed enough to sit, then that will still be the same message. We're open to asking from help from anyone. Kasi based dun sa JICA report, you need 20 billion for the short term, you need 60 billion for the long term, and Davao City has many other issues and concerns that they have to address. So we really need the help of anyone who can help. No? Some from the national government who can help us fix the flooding problem, and even from JICA, from international development bodies, they're all welcome to help us solve the issues and problems here in Davao. So from an independent candidate who's saying, come on, let's come together and let's help each other here. Kung tayo man ay blessed enough to sit, then that would still be the same sort of message that we'll be providing to everybody. Come and help Davao City fix our concerns and our problems together.
Okay. Now, ano ang lamang ng isang Karlo Nograles sa isang Rodrigo Duterte? Let's talk about that. He was former president. He was mayor of Davao for more than 20 years, right? So, eto ka, this is your first try as a mayor of a city that essentially has been a stronghold of this same man, right? So this same man is known for changing Davao, pero anong lamang ngayon? Ngayong 2025, bakit si Karlo Nograles? Anong lamang mo? One is, I would say, age. Is age a factor?
I don't know if age is a factor, maybe, but I see some of the improvements that we can do in Davao City. For instance, yung mga business permits namin sa Davao City, building permits, and all of the permits that go through City Hall, pwede naman natin pabilisin yan, di ba? If you look at the other cities, they're already on e-governance. They're already on digital governance. Why
Naiwan
can't,
ba ang Davao? Naiwan ang
why
Davao?
can't we're still not there. Wala pa tayo dun sa online payment. You apply for your business permits online. You get it fast. You get it quick. You can pay it online. These things are already being done in other cities, in more progressive cities. And Davao is supposed to be the queen city of the South. We're supposed to be the premier city of Mindanao. But the business permits and all of the permits can already go digital, di ba? Can already go e-governance online. Yun na po yung ginagawa ng iba. But I don't know why we're not doing it in Davao City. Over and above that, yung ID card, e-cards na yan sa ibang cities para mas mabilis ang mga pagbibigay ng serbisyo sa ating sa mga kababayan sa mga constituents ng different cities. But in Davao, wala pang ganun, diba? Some cities are giving more benefits to senior citizens maliban sa cake every birthday. They also give over and above what the SWD is giving. They're giving also free medical checkups, free laboratory, free lahat na pwedeng ibigay sa mga senior citizens. But in Davao, it's still not like that.
Wala
But
ganun sa Davao.
I don't know why.
Oh.
It's not as if Davao doesn't have the money for it. It does. It does. And I don't understand bakit hindi natin kayang i-maximize ang lahat yan for the benefit of our people in Davao City.
Oo. So what is it, Karlo? Is it a problem of the performance of the Dutertes in the last few years, frankly? Or is it you're offering essentially modernization for Davao, like a modern point of view or a different way to manage and administer?
I don't want to take anything away from Davao. I don't want to take anything, all of the accomplishment that has brought Davao here to this point. But I believe that we can do things faster. We can improve on things faster. There are better ways of doing things, especially with technology now. Better utilization of technology for more efficient governance and services for our people. These are things that have to be seriously considered kasi hindi naman pwedeng the same usual thing all over again. And I think that's what we hope to bring to Davao City, especially since ayaw rin naman po natin na mapag-iwanan din tayo ng ibang mga syudad na we don't have to look so far. We have to look lang at our neighbors in Luzon, in NCR, and in Visayas, and they're already doing that. And I don't want Davao to be left behind. We can also do that because we have the means, the capacity, and the money to do all those things and even better. Diba? We should be the example for Mindanao. We should set the bar high for Mindanao. And for the rest of the country, I think Davao can do that.
Okay. Now, are the Davaoenos, it takes courage for you to do this, actually, to run against former President Rodrigo Duterte. But are the Davaoenos courageous enough too? They are feared, both loved and feared in Davao. So paano mo lalabanan yun, yung takot sa mga Duterte?
Actually, Karen, itong pagpasok ko dito is a big step forward already for Davao. It's a big leap. Sabi ko nga, pagpasok ko dito, at least my choice na. So it now becomes 50-50. Right? It's a 50-50 choice. Choice A, choice B, it's 50-50 now. And it's really up to the Davaoenos to make that choice. We have 6 months to go. Give me time to explain to you what we want to do. And at the end of this process, pagdating sa election, it's really up to you. Nasa inyo naman yan eh. Nasa kamay ninyo. But at least I gave you guys a chance.
Oo. Nag-iikot ka na. I'm sure nag-iikot ka na ngayon, no? Nag-iikot ka na. May mga balwarte ka na bang nakikita, Karlo?
Sorry?
May mga balwarte ka na bang nakikita? Meron na bang mga politiko, mga kababayan mo na kapag kinakausap mo, nakikita mo, nagbubukas ang isipan nila?
After I filed, I was surprised. Frankly, I was surprised. I did not expect a lot of messages that came my way. I thought I was going for this. Na the message really is just to give Davao a choice, a chance. But overwhelming yung narinig na at nakukuha naming mga messages.
Okay. Now, ang iba kasi, ang mga malalakas na pamilya, naglalagay lang ng kalaban for the sake na may kalaban. Are you really here to win this, Karlo?
Of course, but it's up to the people. It's really up to, like I said in my speech, as I always have, as I always will, I will fight hard to serve. I will give it my best. I've always done that. Wherever God puts me, I will always give it my best.
Okay. Now, I just want to ask you this. You're 48 years old. Am I correct? That's what it says here.
Yeah.
You're 48, right? You're 48. And former President Duterte, well, he said he's 73, but sources say he's 79, right? So do you see this as a factor too? Right? Nakikita mo bang malaking kaibahan yun sa pagboto? Ang bumoto, I mean, it is an issue in the presidential race in the US. Right now, age is a factor too. In terms of energy, dynamism, nakikita mo ba na malaking bagay ito that you are 48 at ang dating Pangulo, kumbaga naging Pangulo na, babalik pa, is in his late 70s?
I think at the end of the day, it's for the people to factor things in. It's a lot of things to, it's a lot of factors to consider. Perhaps it might be a factor to some, perhaps it's not. So sa pagde-decide ng tao, you really don't know eh. You know, it's people have their own ways of weighing things. But at least nandiyan na tayo sa exercise na yan, right? Kesa sa you're not weighing anything kasi there's nothing to weigh kasi there's no one to choose. There's nothing. There are no choices, di ba? At least we're in this exercise, right? Nandito na tayo, and then people are now talking and considering, and they're weighing opinions, and it's nice to see people discussing now about things that are happening in Davao, not just in Davao, but people outside of Davao already talking about this. But more so dito sa Davao, it's nice to see families and friends come together and then start discussing politics and weighing their options and writing down and verbalizing mga pros and cons ng mga candidates. That's what elections are all about. That's why we have elections. So people can talk about these things and really consider, decipher, and make decisions. That's what
Okay.
it's all about.
Yeah. Now, how many Dutertes are running right now? 5 or 6? Am I right? 5 or 6?
5 in the tally board. I don't know what the
Okay.
board COMELEC. On
Yeah.
5.
So let's put it to 5. There are 5 Dutertes running right now, and I think it's only you and your sister, Migs Nograles, running for the 1st district. She's running against Paulo Duterte. It's the first time they're running against each other too.
Yes. Actually, truth be told, my sister was the first actually to make a decision. She was the one who first decided that she wanted to run for 1st district. For me, longer process for me.
Oo, mas mahaba sa'yo. So ang tanong, halimbawa, nanalo ka. You know, it happens. You know, David and Goliath is the famous story. David beat Goliath. Kaya mo bang makatrabaho si Baste Duterte? I mean, yes, I know you have your candidate. You already have a vice mayor, right? You have to forgive me. Can you mention your vice mayor right now, sir?
Vice mayor who's running independent as well, Bernie Alag. Bernie Alag, is a councilor of the 1st district, and he's also running vice mayor. Yes.
Okay, and malakas na konsehal to, no? Ito yung malakas na konsehal sa inyo. Oo. So halimbawa hindi siya pala rin. Nanalo ka, si Baste Duterte nanalo. What will that be like? Can you work with him?
Like I said, no, I'm running independent. And I welcome anyone and everyone who is going to come and help in their own small way. And I will take that even when if I'm blessed enough to sit, it will still be the same attitude. I will reach out. I mean, the councilors, the strong councilors, might not be, independents as well. They have their own party. They have their own local party. So it will be about really convincing them also, no? Kumbaga yung pagko-convince mo for a chance, for change, for the changes that you want to implement, for the improvements that you want to implement for the city. At the end of the day, palagay ko naman, if it's for the benefit of Davao, it's for the benefit of the people of Davao, they will all support. I mean, how could you say no to Davao and improvements for the city of Davao? Hindi ka naman makakaindi. I mean, if you're a true public servant, if you're really there for the people, if talagang you have no agendas or yung agenda mo really is to serve, then I think we could win them over.
Yeah.
So you cannot say no to Davao, right? You cannot say no to the people of Davao.
Where you do have candidates, underdogs that have beaten strong personalities and political dynasties. Si Isko Moreno, naging mayor ng Manila, tinalo si Erap. Huwag natin kalimutan. And there are other stories in Pampanga, in Isabela. Kumbaga, hindi ito nangunguna pero natatandaan ang mga kwentong to kasi it's close to a miracle, as some would say, right? It's like, are you feeling that now? Are you feeling that?
Kaya nga election, di ba? In election, you cannot predict talaga. You can never, ever, ever, ever predict what will happen in an election. It can go this way, you think it's going that way, then it'll go the different direction. You know why? Because it's really up to the people. It's really up to the people. It's not up to the candidate, really. I mean, the candidate can only do so much. But the first thing that you really have to do is give them a choice. Because if you don't give them a choice, then it's zero chances talaga. There's zero chances for change. But you don't put yourself out there and you don't give them a choice, then there's really nothing to select. There's nothing to pick. But if you give them a choice, then maybe they might spring a surprise. Kasi at the end of the day, nasa kamay talaga ng mga kababayan natin, nasa kamay ng botante. That's what elections are all about, di ba? Nasa kamay ninyo. So you can never say ganito, ganyan. Never predict an election because really it's up to the people. That's why we have elections. It's up to them.
Okay. So, huli na to, no? Anong uri ng panunungkulan ba ang maaasahan ng mga Davaoenyo? What kind of leadership can they expect if they say, I'm gonna try Karlo Nograles this time. Ito siya na boboto ko. Si Duterte noon was known from the time he took over is essentially he claims of course, cleaning out Davao from communist rebels, right? Bringing Davao to modernization from the time he took over. But now, the 21st century, anong uri ng panunungkulan? What's in the first 3 years? Ano ang plano mo? First 100 days, midterm, anong maasahan ng tao?
New. It's going to be new.
Bago. Okay.
It's going to be new. Bago talaga. Kasi different eh. It's a different person. It's a different candidate. It's a different name. It's a different guy. So it's going to be new. And pag sinabi natin new, like I said, the business permits should be faster. We're going to go e-governance na. Mag-online na tayo. Mas mabilis. Alam mo bakit? Kailangan mas mabilis ang mga negosyo para mas maraming trabaho. Kasi maraming walang trabaho sa Davao. Really.
Maraming walang trabaho sa Davao.
Maraming nangangailangan ng trabaho. Let's put it that way. Maraming nangangailangan ng trabaho.
So ang tanong ko, kapag mayor ka, alas 8 ng umaga, nasa City Hall ka na.
Ay, ask CSC. Tanong niyo,
isa ba yun? Isa ba yun sa mga issue ngayong eleksyon? Isa ba yan?
Up to the people, really. But ask CSC, flag racing, I'm there, you know.
So kapag nanalo ka, sinasabi mo, Karlo, maaga. Maaga
Hanggang
bukas na
gabi.
City Hall.
Hanggang gabi, I'm there. Yes, oh. With all the work that we need to do, yes. Ang dami kailangan gawin. Magpupuyat po tayo diyan. Work never stops. Sa CSC, work never stopped in the CSC. I'll take that discipline to City Hall. Pasensya na. Ganyan po tayo magtrabaho. And there's a lot of work that needs to be done. Business permits should be faster. More benefits for our senior citizens. We will maximize the SEF funds, the special education funds. We'll build more classrooms. We'll fix the flooding problem here in Davao City. We have the funds. May local disaster risk reduction fund tayo. We have the local development fund. We will use those funds. We'll fix the flooding problem. It won't be instant. Alam niyo naman po yan. We'll have to build, rebuild. We'll have to improve the drainage. We will ask for help wherever it can come from, whether it's national or our local development partners from JICA, wherever. There's a master plan already. 20 billion for the short term, 60 billion for the long term. For Davao City, 8 billion we have to shell out for the flooding problem. As our local counterpart, another 8 billion in the long term. Samahan niyo ako. Let's fix these problems together.
Okay. You've said that already. And so sinabi mo bago, one of the things former President Duterte was famous for was actually that he held meetings late at night when he was president. So pag nag-mayor, ang tanong ko ngayon, paano mga meeting mo?
Morning, afternoon.
Umaga. So baliktad. Maaga ka sa City Hall.
Opo, but believe me, with the work that needs to be done, abutin tayo ng gabi.
Oo. So what is going to be the policy of Karlo Nograles as mayor? Is it an open City Hall? Anong istilong babaguhin mo?
It's going to be open. It's for the people. City Hall is for the people. So it's open. Anyone should be able to come. Those asking for help. We'll put systems in place. It will be open to the public. But lalagyan natin ng sistema, di ba? Because I know I have to address the needs of particular needs ng ating mga kababayan who need help for medical needs. But we'll put systems in place so that it's more efficient. I'll try my best to see everybody, to talk to everybody, but lalagyan natin ng sistema ang lahat. If I don't get to see you or talk to you, at least makakakuha ka agad ng tulong mula sa City Hall and it will be open to all.
Oo. Matanong ko lang, Karlo, no? Takot ba ang nangingibabaw sa Davao o nangibabaw noon?
I don't know. I really don't know. But now you have a chance to change it.
All right. Anong mensahe mo kay dating Pangulong Duterte?
Mr. President, boss, andito na po tayo. Let's give Davao a choice. This is about giving Davao a choice. This is for the people of Davao.
All right. On that note, I want to thank you for joining me today. Karlo Nograles, former chairman of the Philippine Civil Service Commission, running for the mayoralty seat in Davao City. Thank you.
Thank you, Karen.